Good morning, TikTokers. Well, I thought I would come on again this morning and give you a little bit of an update about my new podcast. We've now got our own TikTok page, and I will drop the link below and you can come and follow us there. My lovely actor friend, David Shull, my co-host on the podcast. We've been chatting online, and we've been coming up with some great ideas for the show, and I've also been contacting some guests. Now, I can already confirm that we're going to have Lauren Chiran, who's a menopause coach and menopause coach trainer, on the show to talk about that. We've also got Abigail Barnes from Success by Design Training, who's going to talk to us about time management. We've got Bernie Benton, who's a celebrant and a death doula, and has just brought out a new book called My Death, My Wishes, and she's going to talk to us about life and death. And we've got Jo Partridge, who's a female bodybuilder and also a life coach. She deals with nutrition and fitness, and she's an amazing lady, and she's also going to be on our podcast. Dave is also going to get his own personal trainer on, who is going to talk to you about men's fitness, men's over 50s fitness. And I'm also just about to send an email to another guy called Will Harlow, who's an over 50s physio. So, as you can see, we're going to have some really cool, interesting guests to talk to and some interesting subjects to discuss with them. Dave and I are meeting up this week, and we're going to record our first introductory podcast episode, which will tell you a little bit about us. We're not going to reveal lots about ourselves, but we've both got inspiring stories that we're going to share with you over the course of the podcast. But we're going to introduce ourselves in the first episode and kind of introduce all the things that we want to do with the podcast. So hopefully once we've recorded that first episode, we'll get it up and you can have a listen. We're also going to be talking about films and books, and in the first couple of episodes I would love to talk about the book and the film The Salt Path. So if you've read that, or it's one of your favourite books, or you're going to see the film, or you've seen it, then we're going to do something on the salt path and the healing properties of walking, which is my speciality. Dave's also going to be introducing his regular football slot, and that's going to be really interesting because I'm having to kind of reignite my passion for football. I loved football when I was a kid. My dad was a Spurs supporter. My granddad was the one who was the West Ham supporter. Dave said it was my dad, but no, my dad was a Spurs supporter. And I was brought up around football, and my dad used to take me to matches when I was really little. And I followed football when I was, up until my late teens. My two sons, who were in their 30s, early 30s, are both football fans. One supports Arsenal, one supports Everton. And I love watching sports like tennis and athletics, but I don't really watch a lot of football unless it's like big England games. And my partner just isn't a sport lover at all. But my friend Dave Shull is a really passionate West Ham supporter, so I know I'm going to have to really gen up on my football knowledge and reignite my passion for football so that I can keep up with Dave, because, I don't want to look like a twat. So, yeah, right now my sons are giving me a crash course in football, and I might actually be going to some matches with my son and having some mum and son bonding time at the footy. So that's actually going to be a really interesting journey that I'm going to, document on the podcast for you. And obviously, hopefully, I'm going to get my football knowledge up to scratch so that, I can be as good as Dave. We're also going to be talking about music in the first couple of episodes, because Dave went to see the legend that is Iggy Pop a few weeks ago and sent me a couple of videos, which we've actually put up on the podcast page. And it's amazing. Iggy Pop is still performing live. He's 74 and he suffers from really severe scoliosis of the spine. But the fact that he's up there and he's still kicking it at 74 and rocking, we think, me and Dave, that's absolutely brilliant. And that's the kind of stories that we want to push on the podcast, age positivity. and that it's never too late to do what you want to do either, and learn new stuff, like me learning about football or reignite a passion. Dave's going to be putting out some videos on his TikTok page. So please, I'm going to mention Dave down below. So please go and follow him. He did play Jay's dad in The Inbetweeners. But he's actually, in real life, he's a lovely, lovely person. He's one of the most inspirational and kindest men I've ever met in my life. And, you know, the story of me and Dave will come out through the podcast as well. I've known him for a very, very long time, followed his career. And, you know, he's a great actor as well, and a very, very funny guy, very intelligent. And I think I think everybody's going to love him on the podcast, because I've watched his career for years, and he's a brilliant actor, and he's got a lot to say about, you know, being in your 50s. And yeah, so I just hope people go and follow Dave, and he's going to be putting out some videos, like I said, just telling you what he's going to be talking about on the podcast and what he's passionate about. And hopefully people will like that, and they'll come and listen to the two of us having a bit of banter and chat in the first episode. Well, if you're still here, thanks for sticking with us. And I hope you've enjoyed this little morning chat with me, giving you an update on Still Kicking, the Older and Wiser podcast. Yes, I am in my dressing gown because I'm getting ready to go to work this afternoon. I do have a day job as well as being a podcaster and a life coach. I have to pay the bills like everybody else. And my daughter always said to me, Mum, if you want to be taken seriously on social media, be your raw, true, authentic self. And being a woman in her 50s, actually, no, I'm 60 now, aren't I? I'm actually a year older. Wow, I'm in my 6th decade. So I've got to that stage where, you know what? Like, feral morning lady really doesn't bother me. I'm secure enough in myself to come on TikTok and make a video before, you know, I've got ready for work, before I kind of jump into my day persona. This is me, raw and authentic, first thing in the morning, talking about my brand new podcast that I'm doing with David Schall, the actor, called Still Kicking, the Older and Wiser podcast. So, guys, just, you know, keep liking these videos, and go and follow our podcast TikTok page, and I'll check in with you again with my true, raw, authentic, still kicking 60s persona very, very shortly, guys.